Stop wasting time, best motivational video. Chapter 1, The Drifting Sands. Ethan lived in a comfortable haze. His days blurred into an endless scroll of social media feeds, binge-watching sessions, and the fleeting thrill of online games. He was bright, talented, and full of aspirations, a budding artist, a hopeful entrepreneur, a dreamer with a notebook full of ideas. But these ideas remained just that, ideas. His studio gathered dust, his business plans were perpetually starting next week, and his dreams felt like distant stars, admired but never pursued. He'd wake up with good intentions, a mental checklist of tasks to conquer. Yet, the first notification, the tempting headline, or the allure of just 5 more minutes would pull him into the vortex of distraction. Hours would evaporate, leaving behind a hollow feeling of regret. Where did the day go? He'd often sigh, staring at the ceiling as midnight approached, the weight of unfulfilled potential pressing down. His friends, once vibrant companions, slowly drifted, tired of his perpetual excuses and missed commitments. His family, though loving, watched with growing concern as his once bright spark dimmed under the shadow of procrastination. He wasn't lazy, he was distracted. He wasn't unmotivated, he was overwhelmed by the sheer volume of choices and the ease of immediate gratification. He genuinely believed he had plenty of time. After all, he was young. Life stretched out before him, an endless expanse. Or so he thought. Chapter 2, The Echo in the Empty Room. The turning point came subtly, almost imperceptibly at first. It began with a phone call from his old mentor, an eccentric but brilliant sculptor named Elias. Elias, now frail but with eyes that still sparkled with life, had been a guiding light in Ethan's early artistic journey. Ethan, Elias's voice was raspy, I'm not doing so well. The doctors say, well, they say my clock is ticking louder now. A cold dread settled in Ethan's stomach. Elias, the man who had taught him the discipline of the chisel, the patience of observation, the joy of creation. Elias, who always spoke of time as the most precious, non-renewable resource. Ethan visited Elias in his small, sunlit home, now filled with the faint scent of antiseptic instead of turpentine. Elias, propped up in bed, gestured weakly towards a half-finished sculpture on a stand. I started that piece years ago, he whispered, a hint of sorrow in his voice. Always thought I'd have more time to finish it. Now the hands are moving too fast. He paused, his gaze fixed on Ethan. Time, my boy, is not a river. It's a series of moments, each one a grain of sand slipping through your fingers. You can't scoop it back up. You can only decide what you build with the grains you have. Elias then spoke of his greatest regrets, not the failures, but the unattempted dreams. The masterpieces never begun, the conversations never had, the moments of joy postponed for a better time that never arrived. He spoke of the unseen clock that ticks for everyone, its hands moving relentlessly, whether we acknowledge them or not. As Ethan left Elias's house, the world seemed to shift. The vibrant colors of the sunset, the laughter of children playing, the gentle rustle of leaves, everything felt acutely present, yet simultaneously fleeting. Elias's words, my clock is ticking louder, echoed in his mind. He looked at his own hands, suddenly aware of the invisible grains of sand slipping through them. Chapter 3, The First Grain. Ethan returned home, not to his usual routine of mindless scrolling, but to his dusty studio. He stared at the blank canvas, the untouched clay. He felt a surge of panic. Where to start? It felt monumental. Then, Elias's words returned, a series of moments, each one a grain of sand. He didn't need to build a cathedral in a day. He just needed to pick up one grain. He picked up a small block of clay. He didn't aim for a masterpiece. He simply molded it, feeling the cool, pliable material in his hands. He set a timer for 15 minutes. Just 15 minutes. No distractions. No phone. Just the clay. Those 15 minutes felt like an eternity and a blink. When the timer chimed, he had a crude, but distinct, form. It wasn't perfect, but it was something. It was a grain of time, intentionally used. The next day, he did another 15 minutes. Then 30. He started small, building momentum. He applied the same principle to his business plans, 15 minutes of research, 30 minutes of outlining. He began to see that the vast, intimidating mountain of his dreams was simply a collection of small, manageable steps. Chapter 4: The Architecture of Moments. Ethan began to observe his unseen clock with a new intensity. He tracked where his time went, not to judge, but to understand. He discovered shocking amounts of time lost to just checking notifications, endless tab switching, and the black hole of social media. He implemented radical changes. Scheduled distraction. Instead of mindlessly reacting, he scheduled specific, limited blocks for social media and entertainment. Outside those blocks, his phone was on silent, out of reach. The deep work hour. He carved out an hour each morning, his most productive time, for his most important creative work. No emails, no calls, no interruptions. This became sacred. Batching tasks. He grouped similar tasks, emails, errands, calls, and handled them all at once, minimizing context switching. The power of no. He learned to politely decline requests that didn't align with his priorities, protecting his time. Review and adjust. At the end of each week, he reviewed his progress. What worked? What didn't? He adjusted his schedule, always seeking to optimize his use of those precious grains of sand. It wasn't easy. The pull of old habits was strong. There were days he slipped, days he felt overwhelmed, days he wanted to give up. But Elias's words, and the image of that unfinished sculpture, spurred him on. He realized that time wasn't just passing, it was being spent. And he was the only one who could decide how. Chapter 5: The Masterpiece of Life. Months turned into a year. Ethan's studio was no longer dusty. It hummed with creative energy. His art began to flourish, reflecting a newfound depth and discipline. He launched his online business, not with a bang, but with consistent, focused effort. Small successes accumulated into significant achievements. His relationships rekindled. His friends noticed the change, his reliability, his presence, his renewed passion. He started spending quality time with his family, truly present, truly engaged. One crisp autumn afternoon, Ethan stood before Elias's grave. He didn't feel sorrow, but a profound sense of gratitude. He felt the unseen clock ticking, but now it wasn't a source of dread. It was a rhythmic pulse, a reminder to live fully, to create, to connect, to make every grain count. He realized that wasting time isn't just about losing hours, it's about losing life. It's about letting your dreams wither, your potential remain untapped, your relationships fade. It's about accumulating regrets instead of accomplishments. The masterpiece of life isn't built in grand, sweeping gestures, but in the deliberate, intentional use of each fleeting moment. It's in the courage to pick up that first grain, to say no to distraction, to embrace the discomfort of focus, and to relentlessly pursue what truly matters. Conclusion: Your unseen clock.